Welcome to Lively Lewis Stories.
Buckle up, because you're about to join Levi and Ivy on an adventure.
All you need is your imagination, and
Off we go!
Lively Lewis Stories!
Levi and Ivy, they were playing at the park when they saw their friends, Britain and Brooke, walking towards them. They were twins, and they did everything together. They never knew of a time when it wasn't just them, their mom and their dad. But sometimes things change and new additions are added to a family. While more family means more people to love, it can also bring up lots of questions about who gets mom and dad's attention. Britain and Brooke would be going through that very soon, and lucky for them, their friends were there to help. Levi and Ivy were super excited to see the girls. They were just thinking what a great day it would be to play tag, but how they didn't really have enough people. Hi, Britain. Hi, Brooke. Do you guys want to play tag with us? Asked Levi. Maybe in a little bit, answered Britain. We have some really important stuff to take care of first. Really important stuff? Asked Ivy. Like testing out the new twisty tunnel slider or seeing which one of you can go higher on the swings? No, way more important than that, said Brooke. Levi and Ivy couldn't imagine what could be more important that they would miss a game of tag. But they were curious and asked Britain and Brooke to explain what was going on. Britain and Brooke said sure, and they all went to sit at a picnic bench under the shade of a giant elm tree. First off, we have big news, Britain began. Bigger news than finding out every Friday is pizza day in the school cafeteria? Asked Levi. Bigger, said Brooke. Bigger news than when our teacher told us we were getting a bird as a class pet? Asked Ivy. Bigger, said Britain. You won't believe it, but my mom is having a baby. Britain and Brooke had huge smiles on their faces, and you could tell they were excited to share their news. Levi and Ivy were excited too. They cheered and hooted and gave their friends a big hug. That's so exciting, exclaimed Levi. I remember finding out that my mom was pregnant with Ivy. I couldn't wait to be a big brother. And just think of all the cute clothes and fun toys that the new baby will have, added Ivy. Do you know if it'll be a boy or a girl? We found out the other day that it's a girl, so we want to make a list of all the things we don't need anymore so that we can give them to her, said Brooke. Britain had a notebook with her, opened it up, and started to write down some things. My ballet slippers are too small, so the baby can have those. My softball glove is getting a little bit snug too, said Britain as she started a list. The baby can have all our sour Halloween candy. I don't really like sour stuff, said Brooke. And she can have my old microscope since I got a new one and my old snowboard. I'm kind of into skiing now. That's really generous of both of you, but I think all that stuff is too big for a baby to use, said Levi. I remember when Ivy was first born. Mom and Dad weren't really happy when I put my big plastic dinosaur in her crib. They said they were too scary and had pieces that were too pointy for a baby. That's right. I didn't like those dinos at all when I was a baby, but now I think they're pretty cool, said Ivy. Maybe just hold on to that stuff and the baby can use it in a few years. Thanks for the good advice, said Britain. What are some things that we could give Mom and Dad that the baby could use when she's born? How about some comfy blankets and baby clothes? Said Brooke. If she's the same size as my baby doll, then I have lots of clothes she can borrow. Levi, Ivy, Britain, and Brooke spent a good amount of time making a list of the things that the new baby would need. Britain and Brooke were so excited to welcome their sister into their family and told Levi and Ivy all the things they wanted to do together. We'll teach her how to tie her shoes, ride a bike, and paint with watercolors, said Britain with a smile. I can't wait to be a big sister. We'll teach her how to build a pillow fort, climb trees, and make the world's best ice cream sundae, added Brooke. I couldn't imagine anything better than having a little sister. And think of all the fun you'll have with her on your annual summer beach vacation, said Levi. I know your family loves going on that trip every year. Britain and Brooke looked a little sad when Levi brought that up, and he wasn't sure why until they said this. We're not actually going to the beach this year, said Britain. My mom said the baby is due this summer and it would be too much to take a newborn on vacation to the beach. But I bet that's the only thing that will change, right? Asked Brooke. Well, Well, Mom did say she couldn't come to the park with us today because she was tired, even though it's park day with the girls, said Britain. That's what we call it when we all go to the park together. Our dad took us today, which is fine, but we do miss Mom, added Brooke. Oh no. Or are we ever going to have the park day with the girls again? Or our famous Britain and Brooke sleepovers with Mom and Dad in the living room? Or beach vacations? Britain blurted out, sounding very concerned. I don't exactly know how to feel about all this now, said Brooke, sounding a bit sad. I was really excited, but now I feel like a lot of things are going to change. Since Britain and Brooke were twins, this was the first time welcoming anyone new into their family. They had always just known their family as the two of them and their mom and dad. Levi, being a big brother, knew that some things do change when a new baby enters the family. But overall, it's the most amazing thing that ever happened to him, and he couldn't imagine his life or his family without Ivy. He saw that Britain and Brooke were starting to look a little nervous, so he wanted to help. Things will be a little different, but just remember everything will get back to normal sooner than later. Actually, it will get even better than before because you'll have a new baby to share it all with, said Levi, giving Ivy a big hug. Your parents love you too so much, and I'm sure that they can help with any questions that you have. Britain and Brooke still didn't quite know how to feel, but they decided that they needed to make another list. This time, they would write down all the questions that they had for their parents. They wrote things like, will Mom still come to swim class with us? Will Dad have time to play basketball in the driveway? Do we still get to have our daddy-daughter and mommy-daughter days? Will you still have time to read us bedtime stories? Will we still have make-your-own Sunday Sundays? Britain and Brooke loved their parents so much, and the new baby too, but it was strange to think of sharing their mom and dad with anyone else. Levi and Ivy told their friends it would be so good for them if they stepped away from their list for a little bit and had some fun. So the four friends played on the playground for a little while before Britain and Brooke headed home. The next day at school, Levi and Ivy asked Britain and Brooke if they asked their parents all the questions they had written down at the park. The girls looked so happy and relieved and told Levi and Ivy that they did have a really big talk with their parents. Our mom and dad told us that we never need to worry about sharing them with the new baby. They said that we're one big family and we could do everything all together, said Britain. They said that a new baby only brings more love into the house and that we would be the best big sisters, added Brooke. They did say that some things would be different, but that different can be fun and exciting, and if we ever felt like we had questions or needed to talk about our feelings, that they were always there for us, said Britain. Time went by so quickly, and before anyone knew it, Britain and Brooke were welcoming home their new baby sister. Yes, their mom and dad were busy making sure the baby was taken care of, but they also did all they could to make sure that Britain and Brooke always felt loved and a part of the team. Did you learn a lesson from this story?
If so, what was it?
And parents, do your kids have a story idea?
Leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, the idea, and your kid's name for a chance to join Levi and Ivy on their next adventure. Until next time.
Thanks for listening. Come back for more.